Prayer today. Dear Jesus, I thank you for today. I thank you for previous days. You never forsake me. You are so gracious to me and have shown me your mercy. That I'm alive is not by my power, but by yours, Lord. For that, I say thank you. Amen. Okay. First of all, I want to say, Ralph, great to see you. He was on medical leave. So, I know you're getting stronger every day.
Yep.
That's good.
Happy to have you back.
Okay, I'll start us off. The Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute the minutes of the meeting of June 14th, 2022.
Make a motion. Second.
Commissioner Spudler, you were not here for
Abstain.
these.
Yes. Yes.
Commissioner Barlow.
Yes. Item number 2, the Commissioner's Office is requesting the Board approve and execute the minutes for special meeting of June 17th, 2022.
Make the motion. Second.
Commissioner Spudler,
Abstain.
Commissioner Lennon.
Yes.
Commissioner Warren.
Yes. Adrian has 3.
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Today's financials include a supplemental from the Auditor's Office and the American Rescue Plan Fund, infrastructure capital improvements and sub-grants accounts for the second deployment of funds from the U.S. Treasury, and cash transfer from the general fund to the Sheriff's 911 fund for the remainder of their 2022 funding. Among the encumbrance are travel requests from the Clerk of Courts to attend the Ohio Clerk of Courts Association third quarter meetings, from Common Police Court to attend the Ohio Association of Magistrates Fall 2022 Conference, and from JFS to attend the 2022 Annual National Independent Living Conference. Among the vouchers are $97,245.42 from ADP to CDW Government Incorporated for CrowdStrike Endpoint Network Protection Software and Services, $45,000 from the Auditor's Office to ESRI Incorporated for a 3-year licensing agreement for GIS mapping software and support, and $116,435.61 from Water Resources to HDR Engineering Incorporated for engineering work in connection with the McFarland Wastewater Treatment Plant upgrades and renovation project.
Is there a motion? Or questions?
Yeah, what was the total on that, CrowdStrike?
$97,245.42.
So did that have to go out for bids?
I think ADP doesn't have to go out for this particular thing, so, but I think that they did get multiple quotes. I don't think, he's not in here, Frank.
Do you know why they don't have to go out to bid? Is it because it's
There are certain ADP services that they don't have to, but I can't say for sure that that's what applied to this. I'm just not aware of the other bids that they may have gotten, so I can find out though and let you
And
know.
what was the 45,000 one?
That one was for ESRI, that's actually a 3-year licensing agreement for the GIS mapping software and support.
And was there anything else combined with that would have put it over 50?
Not that I'm aware of,
Okay.
so.
All right, I'll make the motion.
second?
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon.
Yes.
Commissioner Warren.
Yes.
And I'll get back with you on
Okay.
what the other quotes were and stuff like that, so.
Okay.
Engineer's Office?
Good morning.
Morning, Dick.
Item 4 on the agenda is requesting the board approve and execute change order number 1 and final, increasing the contract with Roniak Paving for the asphalt resurfacing of Bass Lake Road sections A through C in Newberry Township in the amount of $45,666.10. The revised contract comes up to $686,301.10. Most of that is due to repairs, additional repairs we had to do over the winter. So,
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner
Aye.
Lennon. Commissioner Warren.
Yes.
Item 5 on the agenda is requesting the board approve and execute change order number 1 and final, increasing the contract with Roniak Paving for the asphalt resurfacing of Thompson Road, sections A through E in Thompson Township in the amount of $5,234.60. The revised contract is $607,559.60. Most of this is just the incidental up and down to complete the project.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon.
Yes.
Commissioner Warren.
Item 6 on the agenda is requesting the board approve and execute unit price contract with Roniak Paving for the asphalt resurfacing of Mund Road, CH 32, sections A through C in Auburn Township in the amount of $890,600. The project was awarded to Roniak on July 12th.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Lance.
Yes.
Commissioner Ward.
Yes.
Item 7 on the agenda is requesting the board approve and execute the unit price contract with Roniak Paving for the asphalt and concrete paving of the Jogga County Engineer North and South Yard in the amount of $511,825. This project was also awarded on July 12th.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Lance.
Yes.
Commissioner Ward.
And,
Yes.
Item 8 on the agenda is requesting the board approve and execute unit price contract with Roniak Paving for the asphalt resurfacing of Auburn Road, CH4, sections N through O in Munson Township in the amount of $599,599. Even, again, this project was awarded on July 12th.
Very good.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Lance.
Yes.
Commissioner Ward.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Nick.
Morning. Morning, sir.
Hey, how are you? Good. Good.
Just one item for me today, for the engineer's office is requesting the board approve and execute resolution 22-142, resolution to order the drainage improvements of Washington Street, County Highway 606, sections C through E in Auburn and Bainbridge Township. This includes multiple culvert replacements, culvert extensions, and some ditch eliminations in areas where the ditch erosion is causing shoulder failure. This is a preparation for the resurfacing project for next year.
Sounds good.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Lance.
Yes.
Commissioner Ward.
Yes.
Just for the record, we're also requesting the board approve and sign the cover sheet of the plans and authorize us to issue the bids on August 19th at 2 p.m. and advertisement will go in the newspaper on August 4th.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Normally I would.
Andy, or Adrian, Frank said that was because they went with state bid.
Okay, there's a state bid.
Okay.
So which exempts it from having to be bid out, so, because it's already been bid to the state, so.
Okay, thanks, Adrian.
You're sort of that.
Okay, number 10, Board of Mental Health.
Good morning, how are you? How are you?
I'm doing fine, how are you?
Good, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me. So I'm back again to see if you all would consider this levy, which is 100% services, to move forward to get certification from the auditor. This 100% service levy goes to servicing hundreds of people in the county with much needed mental health services. And the reason why this past year we had a reduction in the amount we were collecting was because of grants that I wrote that brought in extra funding for this year in order to develop additional programming. Those grants are not guaranteed any other year but this one. Though we do hope to continue with them, if that is the case, obviously we will only be collecting an appropriate amount off of the levy, but since they're not guaranteed, and this levy is 25% of our total budget for mental health services, it's really important for us to be able to continue services through the use of this levy. If we can't get it on the levy this year, we can't count it in our budget, and that puts our continuum of care at risk.
No, I understand. It's
Hey.
a big part of, today's day and age, we're having so many problems, because of mental health, and it's it's really difficult to not have to support these services because it's just a real rough road that we're going down. I understand.
I completely agree with that, and rates of things, because of the stress that has been going on nationally, globally, locally, have increased the severity and rate of mental illness, not decreased it. So the need has expanded. We've been very fortunate that we've been able to get grants that we didn't previously have access to. But again, a lot of those grants are tied to side effects that have occurred from choices that were made during the pandemic that unfortunately impacted people in a not so positive way that may not be available in the future.
Yeah, I mean, as I had stated a number of times over the past month or so, I agree with what you're saying. You know, I think it's critical that this continued source of funding comes regularly. This is a huge part of mental health's budget that they depend on year after year. So, and you know, I think we've been fortunate in that you've been able to go out and source these grants. That's great, but you can't build a foundation or budget off of those grants. You know, a lot of those grants are specific to certain things that you aren't able to spend money on. So, again, just to reiterate, I think some of the concerns, and I shared some of those concerns with this budget for this year. And I think going forward, and from talking to different individuals on the board and the president, yourself a little bit, that you know, being very clear and precise with the public as to what the funds are going to be used for going forward, so that there is a game plan, that it isn't just, you know, we're asking for the money and we'll tell you what we'll spend it on later kind of game plan. You know, I think going forward we got to be a little more, you know, transparent just in how what we're gonna do with that funding. Yeah.
Absolutely, and the breakdown that we provided for you accounts for 100% of that funding.
Okay.
As we passed this out for a couple of sessions, but we do have a breakdown
Good.
for every single dollar that
Good.
was spent.
Okay.
It is spent for Geauga County's citizens to get services that they otherwise would not
Okay.
have access to.
Very good. And you guys are on the right track, and you know, last week, talking to some of the agencies that came in, which I thought was a great discussion last week, being able to talk to, and I'm going to visit with this week a couple of the other directors of the nonprofits, just to get a better understanding of what some of their situations are. You know, it's like everybody else's issues out there. The price of doing business has gone up, and that goes for the same with the mental health industry. You know, the salaries, I think, have always been somewhat lagging in the social work industry, and it's kind of compounded itself now with throwing, you know, 10% inflation on top of that, and it's hard to make a living off of doing that. So I think that'll be another thing that mental health, hopefully, the board will address with our local agencies going forward as well.
Absolutely, we'd love to be able to get to that point where we have the ability to really create some great programs to assist in addressing that. And there is some talk at a state level about assisting boards in creating some of those workforce development programming.
Very good. Yeah.
And I think that there's gonna, you know, we're just kind of scratching the surface too on long-term issues that a lot of the kids, you know, of what, you know, that whole mask thing of just, you know, what that has caused a lot of kids and our seniors of not basically being locked down in their houses and not seeing, you know, their own family members. And I just think that this thing is still not totally surfaced of the problems that we have caused, you know, for the future with a lot of these, you know, mandates and stuff that were put into place, that I think that a lot of these kids are going to, you know, suffer some consequences because of it, you know.
We actually have studies showing the negative impacts
Yeah.
that this has had on children.
Yeah.
If you'd like to view some of those studies, I'll be happy to send them to you. There have been dramatic impacts on children.
Yeah, and you look at suicide rates and everything that across the board. So, you know, at the end of the day, we need to support you, and we need to get this to the point that, you know, it's if you want to be safe in your community, there's a price to pay, and you got to support some of these services. It's just the bottom line. So,
I really appreciate you saying that. Thank you so very much.
yeah. So I'll make that motion.
A second.
Now we'll discuss it. Last week, 4 providers came in here and, you know, brought up some concerns. And on the average, as I've talked to them outside of last week's meeting, and about 65% of what they ask for, they get. So here's some facts that I jotted down last night about the renewal levy. Mental health has 2 levies, 1.5 mils. It expires the tax year of 2022, and is collected in 2023. The other is a 0.7 mils, expiring tax year 2023 and collected in 2024. Putting the 5 mil renewal levy on the ballot this year is considered a year early because it does not expire until the end of this year. If the Board of Mental Health 0.5 mil renewal levy is put on the ballot a year early this year and fails, it can be put back on the ballot and try again next year. This is the advantage of putting the levies a year early. Placing the other 0.7 mil renewal levy on the ballot next year would also be considered a year early because that particular levy expires in the tax year 2023. Correct so far?
That is not the standard practice of our board, but that is legislatively correct.
Correct. Thank you.
We can't count it in our budget if it doesn't go on to the levy this year because of the collection end date. That creates a problem for us in being able to continue the services that are associated with this levy.
Okay. Putting the tax levies on a year early is permitted by law, but not a necessity or requirement. And on the rollback, to lose the 12.5% rollback, the levy would have to fail this year and next year. It might not, and at this time, it might not be wise to approve a levy a year in advance when we may very well be headed into recession. We will know better in 12 months.
If we don't put this levy on this year, we can't in our
I'm still
budget.
talking.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. For the Geauga County people who need the services through the Board of Mental Health and are not receiving them through the agencies that are asking for funds from the Board of Mental Health, since the ratio is about 2/3 of what they ask, there's 35% that are not getting to the people that have the boots on the ground that actually do the services. I call that taxation with no representation for the people that are not getting the services.
I would say that we've not only fully funded the agencies, if you compare it to last year, but all of them have gotten increases. So that's not true. 65% of what they asked, that's not true either. We have given them the vast majority of what they asked. There has been funding cuts on United Way's side, and we've been asked to pick up those funding cuts. We have not been able to fully pick up those funding cuts based on what we are able to spend. As I said before, a large part of that we have in reserve is allocated for capital planning. So we don't have that we can just give out, and we have to keep money in reserve. Under HIPAA, we're a healthcare plan. We have to have some money in reserve. If something occurs, like for example with the SOAR, we ended up with 9 months instead of 12 months of funding. We need to be able to have some money in reserve in order for services to be able to continue. The issue we're having here is that the need is increasing, and the reimbursement rate is not. And the market is getting very competitive. We have a workforce shortage. But as far as what we're providing to the agencies, we have provided an increase to the agencies. And we are well above 65% of what they're asking, well above. You're more than welcome to peruse our RFP and look at what was funded. We've also, in addition, provided millions of extra dollars to the agencies through grants such as the state opioid response funds that were not present until I came to work at the board. So not only have we increased on the RFPs for every agency that has asked us for funding, we have increased by millions of dollars access to money for needed treatment and recovery services in our county for the folks who live there.
But you have $4 million on a carryover, and you have 6 months in reserve, and I think the requirement is you have to have at least 3 months in reserve.
So that 4.2 is the 6 months of reserve. For a department such as ours, the state average in reserve is 6 to 8 months. What we have total in reserve is on par with every other ADM board in the state of Ohio. What they would like to see here is for that to be reduced to 3 months. The good news is, we actually do kind of have that in what our carryover actually is already, because we have money allocated to a capital fund. It should have gone into an earmarked account, we know that, and an error was made there. I fully
And
acknowledge that.
that's really the crux of this.
Yeah, that is the crux of it.
Yeah.
But as far as what we're actually keeping in reserve, we have what we're supposed to. And that's the other issue is, if we give agencies any more than we are now, we're actually going beyond.
Yeah, and I don't think, I think it was an accounting issue more than anything in this, in which, I'm not gonna hold your feet to the fire and punish you for that. And that's what I'm kind of hearing here, is we're just beating that. That is exactly what the problem is, I think. The way I feel and state on it, if this was new money, if we were going out looking for a new levy, this would be a completely different conversation. This is a renewal. This has been part of this budget for many, many years. This should be put on the ballot for the people of this county to decide. So we have a motion and a second on the floor. And
One more question.
Go ahead.
On the reserve funds, you said it's for future capital stuff.
Correct.
When will the commissioners get a written plan on what you're going to do with that reserve money?
We've provided the entireties of the capital plans to the auditor. This is why they're also recommending you move forward with this levy. I can provide a copy of that to you if you'd like to see it. I'll be happy to do that. It would actually be great to get some outside feedback. I would welcome that.
Sure.
And that's for, just to be clear so everyone understands, that's for potentially, you're talking about housing? Is that
For
what?
the severely mentally ill,
Okay,
yeah. We have a housing shortage for that population.
Okay.
And unfortunately, they're more successful if they get support, and there's not a lot of housing that can provide that support for that
Mhm.
population right now.
okay, understood.
Okay. Well done, my questions.
Commissioner Spiller?
Yes,
Commissioner Lund?
yes.
Commissioner DeBoer?
I'll always support the people in need, the people that can't help themselves. But I really think that we should take a pause, only because the Budget Commission made you guys take a cut in this budget, in this mill, this one turnaround, must be 0.5, and you guys both agreed that you had too much money. So the levy that's on the ballot for 0.5 mil, it's only going to be collected 0.25 on that. It's going to be cut in half for the one cycle. So that, my vote is no.
Okay.
Thanks for coming in.
Very good. So the process will, real quick, Jerry, so the process will go to this will now go to the auditors for certification.
Determine the amount of money that would be collected and to certify it, and then we'll be back for, the resolution. I was gonna bring that up, because of the time frame of this, that paperwork needs to be into the Board of Elections, next week, early next week. So we need to have a special meeting to approve that second resolution.
Okay. Well, when,
Monday, if we can do that on Monday, that would be.
Monday?
Yeah.
What time Monday?
We can do it at the normal time of the
Nine-
next meetings.
9:30? That works for me. Second?
Commissioner Lund?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer?
On the Monday meeting?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Item number 11, Veterans Commission.
They're not here.
They're
This
not
is
here.
a request for a need to approve their annual use of their credit card use. The dollar amounts have stayed the same that they have been for previous years. The only change is that they have a new member. Yes, Mr. Hudakovic replaced Mr. Rear, so that's the only change in the format. So this is just requesting you to approve their credit card use.
Which ones are these? I'm sorry.
This is
These are the
veterans.
veterans.
Okay.
And he's,
Oh,
So
okay.
Mr.
Okay.
Hudakovic is the new member, he replaced Mr. Rear
Oh, okay.
on the board.
Very good. Okay.
your motion?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Commissioner Spiller? Commissioner Lennon?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes. Department on Aging.
Yeah.
How are you guys?
Morning.
Good to see you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Here. So we have two items on the agenda. Both are the request to, for you to grant permission for us to advertise to bid for two of our largest programs. The first, they both expire on December 31st of this year. The first one is our Assistance with Daily Living program, and Reba oversees that program, so I'm going to let her speak on that for a moment.
So our Assistance with Daily Living program provides non-medical in-home care for our more frail seniors that need help with personal care. We have non-medical home health aides that come into the home, will assist them with bathing, hygiene, grooming, those kinds of tasks. So it does serve our more frail population. It's a program that we highly monitor. On a monthly basis, we look over every service that came in for every client. So it's very highly monitored. We make sure that the care plans are being followed, that the services that we have contracted for are being provided to that client. We also do a consumer survey with our clients to make sure that the program is meeting their needs and that they're happy with that service. We're in the process right now of getting responses in, and I brought one back to read to you, which I actually just got this morning. But it says, this service has been the difference between my brother living in his home in the community versus living in an assisted living facility. He has short-term memory issues, and while he might physically be able to do some self-care, he needs monitoring and reminders. The A's are fantastic and caring and in frequent communication with the family. I don't know what we would do without this program. And I think this is really just an example of the many wonderful responses that we're getting from our families and from the consumers directly, where they really do say they don't know what they do without it.
Absolutely. So just real quick, in the past, do we hire a company to come in and do this for us?
So we currently have 3 contracts with 3 different healthcare agencies. We go out to bid.
Okay.
The agencies will bid on a number of units, and then we'll monitor that. I mean, we'll review that, and depending on what they ask for.
What are we talking ballpark as far as the numbers, as far as how many clients are served and or residents are served, and then, do around roughly dollars and cents?
So I have the last 2 years of persons served, and keep in mind, we were dealing with 9 months of COVID in 2020 and 6 months of COVID in 2021, so a lot of the folks were afraid to have people in their house. So our numbers did drop, but we were looking at about 145 individuals in 2020 and 110 in 2021. This is a reimbursement program, so we only pay for the services that are utilized.
Sure.
I do not have the actual amount paid, but there is a max per year for 2020 and 21 of $404,000 per 12-month period was the max amount we would reimburse. But once again, we don't pay that out. It's based upon units of service.
And that's
our
directly,
maximum.
you're taking that directly from your levy funds?
Directly, yeah. We are 86% levy funded in our federal programs. Cover our social workers, but not this program.
Very good. No, this is
Talk about
fantastic.
One of the things we're trying to do is, with our clients, is if they meet the income criteria and the level of care criteria for a passport waiver, which is a Medicaid waiver for them, we do apply for those for them. I will say, we've had a number of people come onto the passport program that are income eligible. They are having a difficult time, as is everybody, finding home health care providers. So a lot of times we'll hold them under our program until that program comes through for them. So we do try to move people on to other programs if they're eligible for them. We also do a copay, so if clients are meet a certain income criteria, we will do a small copay, which has been, for these past contracts, $10 per visit, It doesn't sound like a lot, but, you know, over the course of the month, it might be $90 or $80 that they're paying copay. That does kind of put some skin in the game in terms of having them, you know, follow through with their care plans. So we're doing that as well.
And this is a 2-year contract, so it would begin January 1, 23 and go to December 31st, 24.
Very good. That's great.
Second that.
Commissioner Spudler?
Aye.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And the second program that we are requesting to advertise for bids is for our elderly nutrition program, which is our home delivered meals program, and our congregate meal program, which is also the dining at the senior centers. Just a little bit of information on that. In 2020, we had 587 individuals receive home delivered meals. The total amount of meals that went out were 62,395 meals. In 2021, we had 542 individuals receive home delivered meals, and we had 67,158 meals. So some of our clients, they want it 2 days a week. So we're getting more 5-day-a-week clients at this point with our individuals. And once again, just like with our ADL program, we have a very strict screening process. The home delivered meal program is based upon the ability for someone to make a meal safely. It's not that I don't want to cook. There's a physical, mental impairment that prevents them from doing that. Our senior center dining program in 2020, and once again, keep in mind we were only open 3 months, and then we switched to a curbside program. We had 376 individuals receive that senior center dining, 7,746 meals. And last year in 2021, we picked up with 580 persons, senior center dining with 9,484 meals. So we're averaging about 75,000 meals on an annual basis. So once again, we're going for a 2-year contract. We go through a caterer. We do follow the federal guidelines in the case that there is an opportunity for us to get some special funding, as we did with the COVID pandemic. We were able to get our curbside meals funded. A dietitian has to put together the menu, and we do all the food preparation in our kitchen. We are all commercially licensed kitchens at our senior centers.
During the holidays, does that Meals on Wheels increase? Like Thanksgiving and Christmas? Or just days?
On the special day, you are talking on the days specifically,
Right.
we do a special volunteer meal program. Usually we work with one of our local partners. In the past couple years, Omen Family Living has made the special meal for that occasion. So we often get different participants for just the holiday, someone who's going to be home and alone or without their family. That's a special event. We don't screen them to be an ongoing client for our home delivered meal program.
Thank you.
And the Middlefield kitchen's still open, correct?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah.
we've been open. We've never stopped.
Yeah, I remember, it's been a while, and I can't remember her name, she was so funny. You know, I went there and had, I'm sure, yeah, with the candy, you know, she always wanted me to bring her candy.
Yes, we know exactly who you're talking about. We know who you're talking
Yeah,
about.
it's been a while. That, I'll tell you that it was actually a lot of fun to hang out and sit around and chit chat with everybody, and I think they were excited to have somebody new there to talk to, you know. That was like the hit of the party or something, yeah. But I'll tell you, the food was very good too. Yeah, I mean, remember we had dinner there, and I think it was an early dinner, but, you know. But I think this is fantastic that they did this, and that you're able to actually go out into their homes as well and be still able to provide that same level of care.
And we're fortunate for our volunteer drivers. I mean,
Yeah.
this morning when we walked in, we had 6 routes that weren't covered, and within an hour, we had people stepping up in the community covering things. So,
Yeah.
you know, it's a great.
Well, I have to come visit again.
Yes, please do.
Yeah. Thank you.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler? Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer?
Yes.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for
much.
coming in.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Economic Development.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Department of Development, Community and Economic would request the board to approve and execute resolution number 22-144, requesting to establish a new fund called the Demolition and Site Revitalization Fund for the deposit of income and expenditures associated with a state grant for the demolition of commercial and residential buildings and the revitalization of the surrounding property.
Make that motion.
I'll second discussion or just question real quick. Is this, this is related to the funding that was just
Yeah,
received by the
this is
state?
related to the
Okay.
funding. we just
That grant,
approved.
yes.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon.
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes, I think it's a great program.
Thank you. Oh, you want to? Oh, sorry. We would also request that the board grant permission to advertise for bids for the Geauga County Women's Safety Paving Project to be held Wednesday, August 17th, 2022 at 2 p.m. The notice of the bid opening will be advertised on August 4th and on the county website.
This is in Chardon, or?
Yeah, it's on Ravenna.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
make that motion.
Yes,
Second, and did, do we have a new estimate?
we did.
Okay.
We got it.
Okay, very good.
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon.
Yes.
Commissioner DeBoer.
Yes.
Okay. Now, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks.
Morning, Glenn.
Mr. Glenn.
Morning, sir.
Good morning.
Sir.
How many miles are you putting on?
Oh, I gotta get one of those scooters for around here. But otherwise, everything's going pretty good here in the building. So, this first one, number 16, is for a maintenance contract with the generator at the safety center. This is a 2-year contract. They come in and do quarterly of the generator and everything there. All the generators are important, but this one is very important because of the 24/7 that is down there. So,
I'll make that motion.
Very good. Second?
Commissioner Spudler.
Aye.
Commissioner Lennon.
Yes.
Yes.
number 17 is for, we have a part-time communications clerk, due to some unforeseen things. She had to take some time off. She's part-time along with the other part-time over there. So it's something that we're looking at very seriously now, part-time, because we're not getting them up there. So this person does all the communications when anybody calls 285-22222, the main computer. They have to know a little bit about every department so that they transfer it to the correct department. You get a lot of people that call and say, hey, I need the courts. So now we gotta ask which court. A lot of people don't realize there's 4 different courts within the county. So they gotta start talking to them and get them to the correct court. My theory always there is try to get them there happy, smiling a little bit, because we all know that once we get past different people, we're already upset, we get more upset. And I don't like doing that to other county employees. So they have to learn a lot. They also do the county postage. So they have to know all the departments, program it, get the correct postage and everything on everybody's letters and everything. So it is not just for commissioners what they do, but for the whole of the county. So we're trying to look at this position that's maybe going to a full-time positions on this. So
And is that still operating on 470 then?
no,
No.
that is always operated out of the hill,
Oh,
right next to the auditor's office.
okay.
It's in
The
between.
mail room, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. That is the, way back in the, I want to say 60s, that was the old sheriff's jail, all right? Maybe even before there, maybe it was the 1800s. That was, if we had sheriff.
You were a freshman in high school.
Get my walker. But, yes, it's a unique building, part of that, so it is a little bit different from the other 2.
Okay.
It's like a little house set in 2 of the buildings up there, but it is unique and everything, so.
So I guess it kind of, I've been wondering this, Jerry, maybe you can help me. So the front, the lobby where you walk into this building, we have the front desk there. Is that going to be staffed with somebody that like a...
Where you're looking at that at this point.
And that would maybe be what he's talking about, right?
With that job, yes.
That would, direct you like a...
There's some other options that we're looking at also.
Okay.
We're trying to look at the big picture.
Yeah. So we have questions, that'd be a good, like, information center there, or whatever you want to call
Help
it.
desk.
Help desk.
Correct, yes. And it'll be something, we don't want to jump into it and then take it away.
Right.
People get used to it, so we want to see how things go.
Okay.
Is it truly a need to have somebody down there or wherever?
Right.
Right, so.
I think, from just a month or so that we've been here, there has been a lot of people that I've bumped into kind of wandering around.
But the signage is
Yeah.
100% done.
Right.
And no disrespect,
Yeah.
I'm still walking.
Oh, yeah. I got lost.
Yeah, right, so.
Yeah.
You were doing that at 470 though.
Man, I'm glad you came in.
Yeah, 15 years later, I'm still lost.
Yeah.
Yes, so, this is just to put her on unpaid.
Okay.
Unpaid,
Sure.
so.
8 weeks?
Not knowing how long she needs, she might come back sooner.
Okay.
We don't know. And I really like coming and seeing y'all, but if I don't have to, I try not to.
Thanks for that.
Feelings mutual.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler. Commissioner Lennon.
Yes.
Yes,
Y'all have.
All right. Thanks,
Okay.
Lenny.
don't get lost.
Good morning, I am here just to ask to advertise for a full-time position. We had a driver pass away at the end of last year, we just want to fill that position. So just asking for permission to advertise.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Commissioner Spudler. Commissioner Lennon.
Yes.
Commissioner Boyd.
Yes,
Okay, I just want to give you guys a little update on buses. I know it's been a while. Mr. Spudler, since you've been here to talk about buses, I can't get in. The state still doesn't know, Tesco doesn't know when they're coming in. Used buses are going, that are 100,000 plus miles, are going for 75,000. So you can't go out, I can't just get them because I have to go out to bid. They're not doing out to bid because they're selling them before they get them, so they're not filling anything up state bid other than the ones they did through the state. They're not taking any more, so going out to bid is worthless because they're not gonna, they told me they're not gonna even put any things in because they are selling them before they even get them. As soon as the manufacturer tells me they have one, they're selling them. Because they're all either on state bid or people are paying outrageous amounts. I mean, literally the bus was 120,000 to 75,000 for 125,000 miles on this bus.
Wow.
And it was 75 grand new. That's just where they're at. So I don't really have any good options on that because I just can't get any. I continue to look, to be honest, I've been asking different small agencies to see if anybody has any buses they're getting rid of. I'm hoping that at some point somebody gets buses in and they want to get rid of their buses, and even if we have to go and get buses at 150, 175,000 miles, if I have something to offset the ones that are going out every single day at 220, 250,000 miles, I'm hoping to get until I get new buses in.
And how many do you need? I mean, or how many, what would be?
4 would be wonderful.
Okay.
But,
And then,
I mean, I could use more than that, I could use 1 million, but 4 buses would be great at this point.
And that bus would cost about how much?
New buses are about $110,000.
and do you have the funds in place to buy something if it came up quickly?
At this point, all the ones through state bid, I'm waiting on. No, I
You don't have the money?
don't have another 110,000 for a bus, no.
Hmm.
I know we talked at one meeting about the commissioners possibly helping, but I can't get any to even ask you guys for any help, because I can't get a bus.
they're not there.
They're not there to get.
Even the new ones?
I understand.
Even new ones, they're selling them as soon as they come in, so you can get on the list if you have the money, but I'm not sure that it's gonna be any quicker than the ones that I've got ordered, because I have some currently ordered through the state bid. I have 6 of them ordered, but they have no idea when they're coming in.
What if we did this, what if we gave her the approval to get on the list, and then whichever comes first, because obviously, like, if they're not gonna, let's say the state buses come in, she could always remove her name off the list, because they're gonna sell regardless, you know? But I mean, it's kind of a catch-22 that we're in right now.
I'm in a total catch-22. I don't.
Do you have to put something like half down and then order it, or what's the deal?
I have not gone that far because I didn't have the money, so I will double check with the supplier at this point. Tesco is a big manufacturer that we've used a lot in the past, so we've used Myers a lot, so I would guess it would not be as much as a small company that doesn't know me. I mean, Tesco is a bus company we've been using for years and years.
Because it's a problem, and I don't see that, like you're saying, and I'm telling you, it's like this with everything else. why sell it in the state bid when you could sell it for full retail?
They're going above.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
They're going above retail and getting it, so why go with state bid
Give it away, you know.
and give it away?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're not even doing state bid because they're making so much more money out of it.
Yeah.
So, what about some of our neighbors, like Lake County? I'm sure, do they have any buses that they'd be willing to sell
I've
those?
actually talked to Ben, he's checking with his top mechanic, because his mechanic knows which ones are worth keeping around, which ones really need to go away.
Mhm.
He is not sure, he thinks there may be one or two, but they will be 150, 175,000 miles. But if I can get it at a reasonable price from them, I'm looking into it.
Mhm.
The other agencies that I've talked to, like RTA, I won't even go with because their maintenance is terrible, so me getting a bus that's as high mileage as I have with no maintenance is no big deal. Some of the other ones that I know, they don't have anything to because they don't have any coming in.
Mhm.
So if somebody gets one in, so I keep, hey, if we're getting buses in, because I'm thinking if you get a bus in, you might be getting rid of it. Right now, if I get a bus in, I don't have one to get, I'm gonna have to keep the ones I have until I get more than one. Like if I get one bus, it's not gonna make a difference to me.
And you're looking for something specific also, or do you have are you open to different configurations?
It has to be handicap accessible, but other than that, and not a CDL. So if it's a smaller, like a minivan, I'm open to. If it's the bus we have, I'm open to. Right now, I'm open to something that will be eligible under my federal guidelines, so I can still get the money in from the federal grants. But yet, anything that we can drive. So
Okay.
it just has to be handicap accessible. So it doesn't have to be a certain size. It just has to be
Gotcha.
handicap accessible.
And how many mechanics do you have?
One full-time.
One full-time.
Yes. He has definitely been busier than ever. My parts has gone up. I'm working on it, I haven't brought that up yet, but I'm working on, the state has just offered an increase to the federal, or to the state part of it for the parts to fix our buses. We have to apply for it, and I'm working on it right now, figuring out how much money. It's not for my normal operations, it's for parts for buses, because there's gone up for so many people, because we all have high buses. We're working on trying to figure out what else we might be able to get for them. That's still an 80-20, so I still have to have 20%, but we
So,
still have
but typically,
80%.
the funding comes from the state for you to buy your vans and buses?
Federal and state.
Federal, okay.
They're both. The federal pays part and the state
Normally,
pays
the
part.
general fund doesn't kick in on that. But if, like, I'm just trying to think through what Ralph was saying, if we put the funds in place, and got you in line at least, that would, if you placed real orders,
Yeah, I think so. I think she should place orders.
would we get reimbursed back from the state after that?
No,
No.
because I have to apply for it for
I mean,
the
you
grants.
can legally do it.
Right.
You may be able to use ARPA money.
I was just gonna say that.
We did one through Lake, actually I had to go through ODH, Ohio Department of Health, they had one, and we bought one through them, a small handicap accessible, and ARPA was able to cover it based on a need that was driven up due to COVID. You have the wording right with potential.
Yeah,
I mean, interject, sorry.
I like that.
Interject all you want, I'm looking for any ideas. I'll take them.
That might- Yeah, that might be an avenue to, utilize some of the ARPA money put towards these,
Earmark it towards.
yeah,
Sure.
okay, all right, let's get on that.
We'll definitely look at it.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you guys very much.
Thanks, Joey.
I think it's all yours now.
Water Resources. Good morning, Kathleen.
I think it's number 19, hit something. We are asking for the board to approve and execute the contract maintenance form number 2. It's increasing a contract we have with Emory Electric. They just do electrical need for us wherever we need it. It's actually a 2-year contract. It was a 2021, 2022. So some funds have already been expended off of it. We're just looking to increase it by $24,000, so it'll be a new total of $49,000. And again, it's just for work anywhere it needs to be done in our facilities.
And that's up to,
Up to.
okay,
I'll make that motion.
second. Yes.
Yes.
The next item is to pay Woodford Excavating, who's doing the Bainbridge Water Line Extension Project for us. This is to approve and authorize the president of the board to execute the request for partial payment number 3 for Woodford. And also the OWDA contractor's estimate number 3 and the OWDA fund payment request number 3. All of those are just to be able to pay them directly from those OWDA funds. The amount of $270,277.16.
Make that motion.
Second.
Commissioner Spillier.
Aye.
Commissioner Evans.
Aye. Has the prevailing wage sheets been reviewed?
Yes.
And how many employees do they have on the job, on the average?
I think it's like 3 to 5 a week.
I vote yes.
Thank you.
Great.
Morning.
Morning.
How are you?
How are you guys?
So we came to talk about fair, our annual track up.
That time of year,
That time of year. Jerry and I met in March, so I think we were gonna do this in May, and unfortunately, now it's August, and we're just finally getting it done, so. We just want to thank you for. No, it's not like this is a big one or anything like that.
No.
We just, thank you for the opportunity to be here today, and Christine and I rescheduled this today for Doug Logan to be here, our president, our current president. However, his daughter qualified for state fair, and she's showing the state fair today, and unfortunately, that trumped you guys, so.
Nice.
He headed that way, but Wendy's here today. Wendy's our new vice president of the fair board, elected this past year, so obviously, big celebration, 200 years. Oldest continuous fair in the state of Ohio, second oldest continuous fair in the nation. We added the extra day this year, so we're starting on Wednesday. It'll be a free day. Jerry and I talked earlier this year, and so I guess we throw it out there anyhow. We never got back on it, but maybe you guys could declare Wednesday a holiday, so everybody can come down and enjoy the fair. But it is our hope that everybody come down that day. It'll be free admission that day. Gates will open at 11. Have an opening ceremony at noon. I think y'all got an invitation for that. So we're going to get together. We've been talking to the governor a little bit about him coming up and some other people across the state coming and joining us for the celebration, ribbon cutting down at the grandstand. Then we'll be down at the Merchant Hall number 2, where the bicentennial display will be set for this year's fair. We've been collecting memorabilia and tickets and ribbons and entries and things from years past. We have a huge supply of stuff. It's been fun going through pictures, seeing stuff. It's amazing what the county's gone through in 200 years. And the resiliency of the fair in itself, even during the wars and the forwards and stuff, as we've gone back and reviewed, that it was important to keep the fair going during those activities and how it kept the community together. So I think that's, I guess, on Wednesday too, we kicked it open to be a free day that day just because we wanted everybody to come and enjoy it. Plus, we're having a Tracy Bird concert that night, which takes us back to main grandstand entertainment, country music artists. Everybody's all excited. Don't get used to it because it's not coming back next year. It's just a one-shot deal. We saved some money. We put some money away to try and make that celebration special. There'll be fireworks too at the end of the night.
That's Wednesday night?
Yeah. So, the grounds right now look probably as good as they've looked, I think, in a decade. We got everything.
Sign looks great.
Bruce polished, saw the sign down at the grandstand. We put a ton of money into a lot of buildings. We'll just go down the list. Fine Arts has been re-roofed. Gate 5 has been redone. Junior Fair building's been re-roofed. The Ag building, the old Ag building up on top of the hill, where Audrey and Evelyn Blair met back in the 40s or 50s, early 40s. That's been all re-sided and redone. The grandstand has been totally re-sided, and that'd be the first time since 1950 when it was built. So the grandstand has been re-sided, and then the light sign. So we found that in Columbus this year at the convention. So we put an LED lighted sign up for the Great Job County Fair, replaced the flags, added back the saying to it, Ohio's oldest fair. That was on there, but it came off several years ago, got that back on. We just got it electric to it about an hour before the fireworks. So we got it done and got it lit up that night. And if you saw on Facebook those pictures of it over the grandstand with the fireworks were pretty awesome. So we replaced the track fence at the north end, 2/3 of the way around the track. We got all that replaced in the fencing. Gate 1 has been all refurbished. The entrance to it, we added a 3rd lane of asphalt out there plus an archway.
Actually, the Park District donated the old Wicked Woods Arch, and we're currently getting that sandblasted and repainted, and that'll be up in time for the fair too. New sound system, working on sound for the grounds. Unfortunately, the necessary evil of the vandalism increases that we're dealing with. We added quite a few security cameras this year across the grounds. We had some, but we ramped that up and put a whole lot more in, so
Good.
we can see a lot more stuff than we used to see. We spent over $30,000 on asphalt improvements, put about $20,000 in the electrical system, and they just got finished painting domestic arts building, so that's one of the old buildings on the ground, so just got that done. But fairgrounds looks awesome. We picked up advertising quite a bit this year too, to try and announce celebration. We did a couple flash sales on tickets, all ticketing as during COVID, we went with the electronic ticketing system. It's been a little challenging, but we're figuring it out. So, with it, we were able to, this year, we offered flash sales. So the July 4th weekend, we did a flash sale and did half price off an admission ticket. And then we did another one. We announced it Friday on New Day Cleveland, so we did it over the weekend. And we sold about 7,200 admission tickets.
Wow, that's a lot.
Oh, that's
already
really
at
good.
the half price, so we're pretty excited about it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're gonna spend money when they get there.
Right, so it's half off, but we've already got, technically, we've already got $30,000 in gate admission tickets in the bank already.
Oh,
Was that for like PayPal or some other avenue?
Yeah, we use Sapphire ticketing system, so it's on that whole platform there. Just go online, purchase it, download it to your phone, QR code on your phone, come to the gate, we scan it, you go right in. So
That's nice.
High tech.
we worked with it last year. I mean, the challenge too is getting enough fiber and enough internet across fairgrounds to cover the scanners and everything at the gates. That's where the challenge is, to come. But we saw it last year. We saw people that were standing in line outside the gate. We hung the QR code to buy their ticket on the gate. They'd get out of line, walk over to the QR code, take it on their phone, walk up, scan, and go right in. So it helped out quite a bit on that side of it. So,
What big shows, like obviously the track pole, what else they got going on?
yeah, Demolition Derby, and we actually have a new promoter this year. Derby Dog Promotions out of Lake County's coming down to take on that on Saturday night. KOI Racing will be on Thursday night. Of course, Tracy Bird on Wednesday. Harness Racing will stay with a PM show. We switched last year and went with Harness Racing in the evening on Friday, and we're going to do that again this year. So that'll be there. The Sea Lions are not coming back this year. They were actually booked in New York, so we'll see.
Oh,
I know everybody's disappointed, but I don't have them eating fish off my shoulders, so we're
It seemed to be a big hit though.
Oh, they were. Yeah, they were a huge hit. So,
Yeah.
have a rodeo on Monday, High Seal Rodeo on Bloomfield being on Monday, and then on the Midway, we do have Bruno Blasic's Royal Bengal Tiger Show coming this year. And I'm not getting in the Tiger Show.
Come on.
I draw the line, so. I got on stage last year with the Sea Lions. I got yelled at because I didn't know how to get the guy to come out of his trailer, and they told me just go up there and knock on the door. So I opened up the gate and I walked up and knocked on the door, and the Sea Lions jumped out of the water, and they're rubbing on me, and I was petting them, and stuff, and the guy comes to the door and he goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "They told me to knock on the door." He says, "On the other side." I was like, "Oh."
Just running around. Yeah.
But anyhow. So that's where we're at. One other big thing, I guess, is this next January, January 12th through the 15th of the OFMA convention. The Dairyman's down last year. We always appreciate having the sport down there, but if you guys can mark the calendar and try and
12th
save
through
the
the
dates.
15th this year?
12th through the 15th. They got a new president down there. He'd like to see you down there.
Okay.
So
I think I know that guy.
you know.
Yeah.
Behind the podium.
So anyhow, and the other thing, I guess the big thing, obviously, was in the paper and stuff. Representative Grindell helped us with Senator Serino to get that funding put into the capital budget.
Yep.
So we were able to secure $250,000 in the capital budget to put towards a multi-purpose building on the grounds.
Yeah, and we've talked, and we're going to discuss that a little further.
Yeah.
Potentially about some different ideas. I know you've talked about it for a long time, and see what avenues we have to help participate in something like that.
Yeah, we'd like to sit on top. We just got to get through bicentennial here and get it kicked off. And,
Yep. I had us marked on the calendar for, did we put anything official on the calendar, the two of us, for this week or no?
No.
No. We were supposed to.
Jim sent an email and was trying to set a date.
Okay,
I never
but
heard
we
back
haven't,
from him.
okay,
Yeah,
good,
I haven't
okay.
heard back back from
Very good.
on a date,
Yeah,
so,
okay. We'll catch up.
so.
It's
It's crazy, it's crazy getting ready, I don't know, you know, it's just, it's huge, 200 years, and it's just.
Yep.
Now, over the years, you know, the king and queens of the junior fair, are they responding that they're going to be there, or?
We've had some, yeah, we sent invitations out to all of them, you know, of course it was on Facebook and everything, trying to get people coming back that were there. It's amazing, the comments, you know, people coming back and,
Oh, like all the past ones?
Yeah, the past
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
yeah, it's still coming together, so, but,
Because I
people
still
are
have my
excited.
coffee cup from the 175th year.
There you go.
That's when my second daughter was
There you go.
queen, so.
It's, that's funny, some of the stuff that comes in. We just had a ticket that came in the other day, and a lot of these tickets are kind of odd. We had one come out of Chagrin, and we've had some come out of Burton. They're remodeling their house, and they fall out of the wall. Or they were remodeling their garage, or they bought the
Oh.
property, and they're working in the garage, and these tickets just fell out of the ceiling in the garage, you know. But these tickets the other day that came in from 1826 and
Wow.
up to like the 1950s, they actually had a federal tax on the ticket. It was a 40-cent ticket. It was 33 cents for the ticket and 7 cents for the federal tax.
So they had all those years together, they had been collecting them, like all of them? or
These
no?
were just, you know, just a handful of eyeball
okay.
tickets that popped
Wow.
out, you know.
That's really interesting, I'd like to see those.
So we'll have all that on display. We did have an entry turned in from 1895, a lace entry from Domestic Arts. Turned in with the original entry tag handwritten on the lace entry tag.
That's cool.
So.
Where do you keep that stuff? Do you have some place to store some of the old memorabilia?
Well, right now, you know, the fair office has always been the stopping point for all the stuff we've had in there, and, you know, we just started emptying out the cupboards and drawers and everything else. We've got it all in the farm produce building right now, trying to sort it out. They're just finishing up the merchant hall today, and next week we're gonna move it all down there, because like I said, that'll be the display area. That's something we'd like to do with that new building, as well. The plan in that has been that we would have like a lighted area or a secluded area there that would be under glass, that all that stuff could stay.
Some history.
All the history could be there. So if you rented the building, it's, you know, for a toy show or something, you came in for a toy show or a wedding or something, but that area would be under glass and it could be lit,
Like it.
and all that stuff could be on display, kind of like a museum there on the grounds as well, so.
Well, you guys have done a fantastic job, not only this year, but just in years past. And, you know, the tradition has been passed down, you know, from your father and your grandfather, I think, to you now. And there's so much history involved with all the different families that have, you know, been a part of this. And it's just such a unique, you know, situation here in Geauga County, that being the oldest like this. And, you know, I think people take such pride in it. That's what I get from it. And the people on the board, it's labor of love, and I know how hard it is. It's a year-round job. You guys never stop working on it, so.
It's been a challenge this year too, just like we thought. I mean, I heard earlier today with the supply issues, you know, just like with your buses and things like that. I mean, it's been a challenge, you know. It's the simplest thing.
Yeah.
The simplest things that we've had to
Oh, yeah.
try and outthink the market to try and keep it ahead so we could get it ordered or get it in, you know. Even like all of a sudden now we're hitting a point where printers are running into a paper shortage. And we're, you know, just silly things like that. We started to make a candy bar this year, a chocolate bar. We tried to make chocolate bar for Bicentennial and put the logo in the chocolate bar. And we started that process in January. And I think I might get a couple delivered today, actually.
They
We
ran
might
out of
show up
chocolate or
today.
something?
Yeah, can't get chocolate. There's a chocolate shortage typically, so now it'd be, you know, so just silly things like that. Concessions and vendors are struggling as well. You know, the Midway food stands, it's been a challenge, you know.
The meat.
If they didn't buy their lemonade cups in last November, they don't have lemonade cups in summer. You know, that's how bad it is for those guys.
The barbecue guys, they can't get.
The fuel moving from location to location, showing them up. But we're gonna have 300 of them there, and we're gonna have an awesome time.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, it's just coming together. Everybody's surrounding the fair and just wants to be a part of it, and the feedback has just been gigantic. So,
Well, we're excited for sure.
That's cool.
I know that there's a lot of tradition, and to me, the fair is homecoming, because there's so many people that go there just for the fair, and they see people they haven't seen in 5 years or 10 years, and they talk about their high school days or whatever, or competing against each other in the steer barn or whatever. And there's a lot of heart and soul in our Geauga County Fair. So, and that's why it's great. So, thanks for coming in, and I'm sure that we'll all three of the commissioners will agree on a resolution that we can present on Wednesday.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
first day, we'll have that ready.
Yeah,
So are we doing our typical meeting there and all that, or no? No, not doing that, okay.
No,
Okay.
because of everything that's happening on Wednesday with the actual
Okay.
opening of the fair.
So we'll
We're
just-
not actually holding a meeting there this year, so we'll have a session here on Tuesday, and then
Okay,
that way everybody will be at the fair on Wednesday.
sounds good, sounds good.
Yeah, Wednesday's the celebration day, then Thursday is back to business.
Okay, yeah.
Gates are open, fair's on, so.
Great.
It was nice to see they got the road paved too.
Yeah, yeah. That's what we were just talking to Nick this morning, and everything, it's all coming. It's coming together. Everybody's, like I said, it's just, somebody asked me the other day what sets fairs apart, in the state. Obviously, I deal with fairs all over the state of Ohio. Every fair is based on the community that supports it. Every fair is a little bit different. We're all in the same business, but every fair is just a little bit different. But the community that supports it is what makes it fair. It pulls that out of the community. And you can just see, you can feel it. As we're, 29 days, 30 days out, you can just feel that everybody getting tense about it and pulling together and get everything done. Just like that with the roads and square and circle, how the Burton look any better, and everything's coming. So.
I think the whole community was like a 9-year-old child the night before Christmas.
Yeah.
And we're waiting for the 200th anniversary.
Yeah.
I really feel that.
I had to laugh the other day with the construction out in front. I came in the back way over at Gate 7, and that's the way we used to come when we used to come to the fair. We came to Gate 7, and you came down that hill, and you could just feel that anticipation when you came down that road and you saw that junior fair tent and stuff up there. It's fair, as you came in. So, and I can still feel it 50-some years later. So.
You're only 49.
Yeah, that's okay. Pam did say that, my wife said that. She said, well, it's 200 years and you've been there for half of them. I'm like, honey. I'm in a quarter. I'm like, yeah, thanks.
Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Dad.
All right, this is all of you, all of this has to be signed by all of you.
Hey, Joanne, so if you can, I would try to maybe get some quotes then on some of the buses.
I'm gonna do that. When I go back, I'll start talking to Tesco, see what we have.
Sounds good.